Without further ado, let's start. Vilambit Teen Tal, Rag Teen Palas. Okay? And the beginning composition is Peshka. the shape.
Nirja Apte, and on behalf of Samanvay, I welcome all of you. Today we have with us an outstanding tabla artist who is well known for his intense solo playing and sensitive accompaniment. He belongs to Farrukhabad, Lucknow, Ajra Gharana of tabla. So we welcome Shri Abhiman Kaushal.
Thank you. Thank you. Namaste. Namaste.
To start with, I would like to know about your childhood days, about your gurus.
Okay. So I belong to the city of Hyderabad. I was born in Hyderabad and I grew up in a family of arts. So my mother was a very well-known Kuchipudi dancer from Hyderabad. Her name was Srimati Sumati Kaushal. And my father, Sri R.B. Kaushal, he initiated me into tabla when I was probably 5 years old, because he was by profession, he was in the Navy, but he learned from a very great Ustad Amir Hussain Khan Saab. Then while I was growing up, my father retired from Navy and just focused on tabla. So he initiated me into tabla. And then continuing forward, he wanted me to be more, disciplined and focused. Because I was a young child, sometimes in family, when you're learning music, you can take things for granted. So he put me under a very great Ustad in Hyderabad, Ustad Sheikh Dawood Khan Saab. And I learned for many years from Ustad. And then later when he had some physical challenges, then I was sent to his senior most disciple, Pandit B. Nandakumar. So this was my growing up days, along with academics, which I went to Hyderabad Public School, Begumpet. So that was my schooling. And then this is my music upbringing from Hyderabad.
That's great. I would like to know your thoughts about our age-old Guru Shishya Parampara.
Yes. So to learn our music, I feel that's one of the most profound ways of imbibing this music. Because what we say, this Guru Shishya Parampara, or in Urdu they say Shagird. So you might know the meaning of Shagird. You're the eighth gird of the Shah. The reason for that is even because staying in modern cities, I didn't have to go and live with my Ustad, but at the same time try to spend as much time as possible. Not for the music part of it, just personally. Because what you do is, as you know, around our music, we have a whole cultural protocol. The tehzeeb, and there's so many subtleties that is not taught to us, but we just have to watch the guru and take the signals from them. So you're soaking in all these different elements, which you can only do in a Gurukul or a Guru Shishya Parampara. You can't do it in a big class setting because things get dispersed, they get lost, unless you're totally in tune. But the best way to tune in with your guru is in a Guru Shishya Parampara.
It's a great thing. And yes, that is our Indian tradition also, to learn from a guru. You have a part of many international festivals and accompanied legendary personalities like Pandit Ravi Shankar, Ustad Zakir Hussain Khan Sahab, Pandit Hari Prasad Chaurasia, Pandit Jasraj Ji, and many more. So do you recall any interesting incidents with these maestros?
Well, each maestro is a glowing legend in their own form. So as a tabla player, for me, it was a blessing to even share time with them, and super blessing to be on stage with them. So the reason I say that is, as an accompanist, when you sit and try to do your best to accompany them, if you're able to tune in with them, with their music, each of them take you to different heights. But important part is, as an accompanist, you have to lock in with them. You have to tune in. You can't be distracted. So once that happens, it's just such a blissful feeling being on stage with them. Sometimes it so happens that these legendary artists, because of them, you have thousands of people in the audience. But you're so focused on the music that you forget sometimes there's people sitting and listening. You're in that zone. So like I said, each artist has their own glow, their own charisma, their own power, and you get to learn so much from them. And one incident is recently, very sadly, we lost Pandit Jasraj Ji. So my first concert with him was when I was 19 years old in Assam. Yeah, and I didn't play with any vocalists till then. Forget a legend like him. But I got invited for this concert and he didn't know this. So when he found out that I'm not a vocal tabla player, instrumental tabla player, he got very upset because he was tense. You know that how can he do? And he was telling the organizer, why do you do these mistakes and this and that? And I was young, I was nervous. And then anyway, he's cooled down and he said, evening, come to the green room 1 hour before. वहाँ रियाज करेंगे, थोड़ा देखेंगे. I went 2 hours before, and he came 5 minutes before the show. And I said, we had no time for rehearsal. We went on to the stage. I took my guru's name. I said, everything is at your feet. You take care of it now. So the first, Vilampit Ektal, what they start usually in a vocal, I kept it very comfortable. I made sure that he's in a comfort zone. I was not doing any nautanki on the tabla. I just kept it very clean. And then I could see him feeling settled. By the second song, Hamsadwani, he was singing. Jasraji has this habit of keeping his hands out like this and singing. So his right hand was under my chin like this, like a ladla on stage. So that is, it's a blessing. It's a blessing to get that. But this is the most recent because this incident happened of losing him. So this memory is fresh in me.
You are blessed.
Yes, it is.
We are talking about the accompaniment, and you are a soloist and accompanying artist too.
Ji.
Which you feel is more enjoyable or difficult?
In a tabla player's professional span, if you take a ratio from 1 to 10, we'll have maybe 2 or 3 tabla solos and rest are accompanied. That's the ratio, the busy part of it. In solo, what happens is you have total freedom to choose and play what you feel at that moment. Usme kuch bandhawa nahi hai. You have a certain format and you go with it. But in accompaniment, you have to be very, very, focused in a different sense with the artists. Because it's not you just expressing yourself, you're expressing with them at that moment. So, जैसे accompaniment में, if I'm sitting with a sitar player, usually the alap section is the long part first and then the gut starts. But for me, the alap is very, very important because with that, I'm understanding the mood the artist is trying to create so that I can contribute to it. And in Tabla Solo, recently there was an interview I saw on YouTube in which one of my favorite great tabla player, Pandit Ananda Chatterjee, he said it in a funny way, but he said it so well. He said, accompaniment and solo is like bachelor life, accompaniment is like married life. So that's a funny angle, but both have their own elements.
बहुत अच्छे से आपने इसको एक्सप्लेन किया. दैट वाज सो वंडरफुल. और दोनों का अपना अपना अलग इम्पोर्टेंस है. सोलो प्लेयर का अलग उसका इम्पोर्टेंस और उसकी खूबसूरती है और अकम्पनीमेंट की अलग बात है. डिफरेंट स्टाइल्स जो आपके घराने में खास तौर से बजाई जाती हैं या आपका घराना पर्टिकुलर गद परन कायदा रीला इनके लिए बहुत मशहूर है.
जी जी.
इसके बारे में कुछ अगर आप बताएं कि क्या खासियत है, व्हाट इज द ब्यूटी ऑफ योर पर्टिकुलर घराना?
Right. So each gharana, Nirja ji, has its own character and own beauty. So in Farrukhabad, it is known for very aesthetic compositions. It's almost, when you hear those compositions and play them, it's almost like poetry in the form of tabla sounds. Starting from our founder, Haji Vilayat Hussain Khan Sahab, coming down from that generation, each ustad, each guru has composed just magnanimous compositions. So Farrukhabad is known for its gut. It's aesthetically beautiful guts. And Ajrada is known for its kaidas. People have this conception, it is not 100% true that everything is played in Tisra Gati in Ajrada, but a lot of compositions are in Tisra Gati. And they're played a little bit in the Kinar. And Lucknow, because Lucknow Ustads had a lot of interaction with the Kathak Gharana, Lucknow Kathak Gharana, a lot of Lucknow compositions have a lilt in them, a swing in them. When you play some bowls, it's almost like you're doing accompaniment to Kathak dance. but they're tabla bowls. They are tabla compositions, even gat and all that. But they have that swing in them. That is the influence of the Kathak school in Lucknow, Gharana. Yes.
How beautifully you explained this. Wonderful.
Thank
Wow. You're working as a director of UCLA and UCR, and
Yes.
played in Grammy Award-winning album. So we would like to listen about that particular experience of yours.
Right. Thank you.
So
So,
proud of you that
thank
you are one of the wonderful players there, and in the team of Grammy Award-winning team.
Yes, yes. It's such a privilege, and ये सब गुरु का ही आशीर्वाद है. I don't do anything, you know. If I just feel that if he is thinking of me and smiling, then good things happen. That's how I look at things.
Great.
So UCLA, I started in 1997. And when I was in USA, I was never thinking of teaching in a university. That was not my plan. It just happened. It just happened. And suddenly this offer came, would you like to teach tabla? So I called my guru in Hyderabad and I said, Guruji, this offer has come. Should I do it? And he said, of course, do it. It's your duty to spread the arts and do it. And I'm sure you'll do it well. But see how gurus give their advice. He said, beta, सिखाना जो है, it's अपने हाथ के 5 उंगली की तरह है. शागिर्द लोग जो है, शागिर्द सब अपने हाथ में है, but सबका अलग-अलग character है. So that's how you should treat the student. Don't generalize a class. Each student has a potential. Try to tap it. And then, you know, teaching is also, it's a learning process. It's a self-learning process because UCLA is one of the world's greatest institutions, wonderful students. And as you're teaching them, you're also growing in that same process. And fast forward recently, when I was part of this White Sun 2, which won the Grammy, I was one of the prominent musicians who contributed to this album. That album, when they approached me, Guru Jas, who's such a wonderful, wonderful singer, who sings Gurubani in their own form, please believe me, all the songs we recorded in the studio, there was not one retake. Everything, one take. Sometimes I would say, Arey, maybe I can do this. But the main Adam, the recording engineer, Guru just, no, this is it. So it just happened. You know, it was meant to be. It was a beautiful, beautiful collaboration. I mean, when I had the headphones on, listening to the song, getting lost in the world, playing my part, it just, you know, merged.
ये भी आशीर्वाद है गुरु के और ईश्वर के.
जी जी बिल्कुल.
आपने अभी स्टूडेंट्स की बात की या बीइंग अ टीचर, मुझे ये पूछना है कि रियाज एक परफॉर्मिंग आर्टिस्ट के लिए क्या मायने रखता है? What is the importance of रियाज and how one should go about this?
जी जी जी. जैसे रियाज का जो सब्जेक्ट है, रियाज I feel is devoid of performing. As a musician, you have to do riyaz, whether you have a concert or no concert. Because itne ustad log, guru log itna sikhaye hain, and after years and years, then you're forming your own thoughts. So to keep that cultivated, you need to keep doing like regular riyaz. That is very important. Concerts happen. Concerts keep coming, and that's a different, you know, you prepare for that. But I usually do riyaz whether I have a concert or no concert. वो एक रियाज एक नशा की तरह है. And without riyaz, I feel very unsettled. I feel very jittery. I feel, you know, moody. तो कुछ घंटे रियाज हो जाएगा, then I feel a little toned down. तो रियाज का वो effect है. And as a professional musician, it's a duty to do riyaz because, you know, next day you get called for a concert. वहाँ stage पे आप अपना नहीं करना, अपने गुरु का भी नाम ले रहे हैं वहाँ पे. So you have to keep all this gharana, self-respect on stage. So it's a huge responsibility. So riyaz has got this very important role for every musician.
तबले में भी क्या वोकल म्यूजिक की तरह कुछ पर्टिकुलर चीजें होती हैं जो आप रियाज में इंक्लूड करते हैं?
रियाज में जैसे मेरा जो पर्सनल रियाज है, आई डू अ डिफरेंट कॉम्बिनेशंस. कुछ कायदे हो गए, कुछ गत हो गए, एक फॉर्मेट की तरह है. वो इनिशियल होता है. That is to just, you know, it takes about hour and a half, 2 hours to go through the whole thing. And then I start working on compositions which my ustad might have taught me years ago, which hota kya hai ki, you know, you have that composition with you, but now you feel eligible for trying it. Because those compositions have such depth that you have to understand it. तो maturity के साथ वो आता है, and then you start trying those compositions, and then you play it, once you do your part in it. तो
जितनी भी रिकॉर्डिंग सुनी है उसमें
जी
एक बात खासकर मुझे लगी कि आपका जो तबले का टोन है
जी
और क्लैरिटी है जो बोलों की, वो
जी
बहुत ही खूबसूरत है।
थैंक
तो
यू सो मच।
उसके लिए क्या कुछ खास आप करते हैं या ये आपको परंपरा से मिली हुई चीज है?
परंपरा से बिकॉज होता क्या है कि गुरुओं का जो प्रभाव है, माय फादर, इवन दो ही वाज नेवर अ प्रोफेशनल म्यूजिशियन, ही वाज अ फैंटास्टिक तबला प्लेयर। इतना मीठा हाथ उनका और इतनी तैयारी, तो वो पिताजी का है। हिज उस्ताद अमीर हसन खान साहब had a golden tone, beautiful tone. My ustad Sheikh Daud Khan Sahab, just glowing all the time. So when you're learning and you're hearing these sounds, somewhere it goes inside you. Ki I have to reproduce the same tone. It's nowhere close to that tone, but that effect comes to you. That you have to try that tone. So because that becomes your जैसे benchmark हो जाता है कि ये tone मुझे लेना है. तो करते 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 you try to in your own way try to get that tone in your hand. But thank you for your compliment.
Thank you so much. It's an enriching experience to talk to you actually.
Thank you. Likewise, thank you.
For your valuable thoughts on all these things which we are really looking forward to. And it was a wonderful concert of yours. Great experience to listen to you, your tabla. Thank you so much for talking to us. Thanks from Samanvay.
Thank you. And also I would like to add one thing that I would like to compliment and congratulate Samanvay for, nowadays because of the present situation, what's going on around the world, a lot of musicians are just waiting when they can go out and perform. But this is such a wonderful alternative to that, where they're still alive in a certain sense, keeping their work, doing it. So we need more organizations. Actually, we need more support for organizations like Samanvay, and I wish Samanvay and all of you all the best.
और आपसे बात करके वाकई बहुत अच्छा लगा। और एक और फीलिंग मुझे जो बार बार आ रही है कि यू आर सो ग्राउंडेड, मतलब बहुत ज्यादा आप जमीन से जुड़े हुए हैं। और यही हम दुआ करते हैं कि बस आप ऐसे ही हमेशा आगे बढ़ते रहें। और लाइनों के साथ हम आपसे विदा लेंगे कि नाद शब्द से पहले आया, नाद शब्द से पहले आया, ये आकाश तत्व की माया, ईश्वर का है रूप चिरंतन, है संगीत उसी की छाया।
क्या बात है, क्या बात है, वंडरफुल वंडरफुल। मैं जब रिकॉर्डिंग बाद में देखूंगा तो आई एम गोइंग टू रिकॉर्ड दिस।
थैंक यू सो मच।
थैंक यू जी।